Today we will discuss the YNV Choo story. Choo is a rapper from Kennedy Street Northwest and is close to other Kennedy Street rappers like Migo Lee, Jody Boof, Greedy, and Mikey J. Choo appeared in the rap scene around 2021, and his first song was with Greedy YNV. Choo would keep on dropping throughout the years and would even drop a whole tape. But back in October of 2023, Choo and another YNV member named Mikey J would be at Morgan State, and that's when they would get into an altercation with some ops, causing a mass shooting to occur, and Choo and Mikey J would be the two main suspects. At least 2 people opened fire during a dispute between 2 groups at Morgan State University homecoming events Tuesday night. But the 5 victims were likely not the shooter's intended targets, officials said. All other homecoming events and classes were canceled for the remainder of the week, including Saturday's football game. University President David Wilson announced late Wednesday afternoon. Wilson said the regrettable decision marked the very first time in Morgan's history that such events were canceled. Some students were seen leaving campus with duffel bags and suitcases Wednesday afternoon. Today, we unfortunately find ourselves navigating this tragic event during a time at which we should be celebrating, Wilson said in a letter to the university community. Baltimore Police Commissioner Richard Worley said preliminary evidence indicates the shooters were targeting one person who wasn't among the victims. All 5 are expected to survive. Worley said a third person also pulled a gun during the dispute, though it wasn't clear whether they pulled the trigger. He said ballistics testing will reveal how many shooters were ultimately involved. The updates from police Wednesday morning helped quell rumors circulating online about whether the attack was racially motivated or a planned school shooting on the historically black university campus in Northeast Baltimore. The shooting unfolded around 9:30 p.m., shortly after a coronation ceremony for this year's Mr. and Miss Morgan State in the campus auditorium. Attendees were walking from the auditorium to the Student Center for a coronation ball, which was about to begin when gunfire sent people scattering in fear. The gunshot victims, 4 men and 1 woman, are between ages 18 and 22. 4 are Morgan State students. No arrests have been made yet. Time would pass and YNV Choo and Mikey J would be arrested. On Friday, November 17, 2023, pursuant to a D.C. District Court indictment, 20-year-old Keon Brown of Northwest D.C. and 18-year-old Jovan Willams of Northwest D.C. were placed under arrest by 6th Crime Suppression Team officers. Additionally, Willams was arrested in connection with an arrest warrant out of the state of Maryland.
Police are saying that those responsible are still at large and that at least one person was likely the intended target of the shooting, but that one person was not one of the victims. Baltimore police still searching for the person or persons behind the on-campus shooting at Morgan State University during its homecoming week celebration.
There was at least more than one person with a weapon. The problem is the ballistics has to tell us how many guns there were that were shot.
Investigators learning at least 3 people had a weapon, although it's not clear yet how many people opened fire. Police say it appears the incident stemmed from a dispute between 2 small groups. 5 people who police believe were unintended targets were shot and wounded, 4 of them students.
We're in here scared for our lives, wondering if we're going to live or die tonight.
Dramatic video capturing SWAT teams going room by room searching for the shooter at the historically black college. Sophomore Stephen Forbin tells me he rushed to contact his friends who were at the event when he started getting active shooter alerts.
Just emotional, I didn't know what to think. Are you okay? Especially when you're not texting back immediately.
University President David Wilson releasing a statement saying it was so disappointing to learn of what took place, but rest assured our Morgan family is strong. This as dozens of HBCUs, including MSU, have received racially motivated bomb threats since 2022. Baltimore's mayor calling on Congress and the White House to help end the gun violence.
The horrific act of violence is a sickening a reminder for all of us of how commonplace these incidents have become.
The university canceled classes today and is reassessing plans for the rest of the homecoming week. Now, of course, we know that at least one person was injured and they have now been released from the hospital. Of course, there were 4 in total. Back to you.
Search is now over for the second suspect police say is tied to the Morgan State University mass shooting. 18-year-old Jovan Willams was arrested in Washington, D.C. A juvenile was also arrested last month in connection to this case. The shooting following homecoming coronation would prompt the university to beef up security. WJZ's live at the campus right now. Christina Mendez has reaction from students who say this is one step closer to closure. Christina.
Vic, students tell WJZ that it's been really hard over the last month and a half or so finding a sense of security after what happened here. The suspect seemingly evading police for all of that time, but now they're breathing a sigh of release with this latest development in the case.
People were traumatized, people were hurt, people will never forget.
Memories of the mass shooting on Morgan State University remain fresh on the minds of many students, such as Yasha Barnhart. On Monday, a month and a half later, an announcement was made. The second suspect wanted in connection to the crime was caught.
People will see this and it brands other people. It branded the school, it brands the city, it brands themselves and their families. And actions that they took that night affected so much more people than just the person that they were probably after.
Police say 18-year-old Jovan Willams was arrested in Washington, D.C. and now faces several charges, including attempted first-degree murder. A 17-year-old was arrested earlier on.
It does make me feel slightly safer.
The shooting after homecoming coronation left 5 people hurt, including 4 students, but all survived. The incident would spawn a series of cancellations and postponements of other events. The university then made adjustments to security measures. Student Jaden Taylor says this second arrest is one step closer to closing a painful chapter.
Of course, it was kind of hard, but you had to realize that if you don't stop and you can keep on going, you can show others that they can keep going too.
And Willams is also facing separate charges in a guns and drugs conspiracy case that he's been wanted for in Washington, D.C. since June of this year. I'm reporting live from Morgan State University tonight. I'm Christina Mendez for WJZ.
That's a big development. Christina, thank you.